Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Azizatul Afifah, number 201824008, and supporting lecturer Dr. Melian Melani SSMPD and Master of Islamic Religious Education Department and Faculty of Tarbiyah and Teacher Training Win Syekh M. Jamil Bukit Tinggi. Okay, I will do journal presentation and discuss the content for number 1, journal identity, 2, abstract, 3, introduction, 4, methodology, 5, result, 6, discussion, and last, conclusion. And the point 1, the journal identity. Journal title, The Role of Self-Motivation in Self-Regulate Learning. Author, Muhammad Nurwanggit, Vol. 11, number 1, June 2022. Publisher, Psychology Journal of Guidance and Counseling. Next, point 2, abstract. In this 3 point and 1, object of study. This paper focus on self-motivation as important element of self-regulate learning. Self-motivation is the first step an individual needs before acting and determining the success of his or her act. Self-motivation encompasses self-efficacy, intrinsic interest, orientation, outcome expectation, and activation of knowledge. Point 2, research methods. Correlational study involved 100 randomly recruited guidance and counseling department students. The data were collected using self-motivation and self-regulate learning skills and analyzing using regression analysis. 3. Result. The study showed that nodal aspects of self-motivation play important roles in self-regulate learning. This result implies that the learning goal may serve as a strong motivating factor in self-regulate learning. Okay, next, introduction. Number 1, self-regulate learning has become a very popular and important topic in the last few decades. This is because studies have shown that self-regulate learning correlate positively with numbers measure of academic success, both for high school and college students. 2. This study was designed to this hypothesis that self-motivation has a role in student capacity to engage in self-regulate learning. And 3. The SENSE model, self-concept engaging tactician, is used as a basis for self-motivation as an example of a self-motivation approach. And then self-motivation is an attempt to enhance one's nature or condition, abilities, skill, status, or well-being through self-assessment and self-verification of information provided by others in the context of self-improvement. Next, self-motivation consists of belief in one's own abilities, expectation of the result obtained, interest in the task or task value for individuals, and orientation toward goals. And last, self-motivation can be achieved by employing self-positive value to boost self-confidence through a sense for ability, intrinsic interest, oriented of learning objective, expectation of result, and the capacity to activate prior knowledge. All of these factors will promote the implementation of self-directed learning activities. Next, methodology. Types of research yaitu quantitative correlational design, and two variable, independent variable and dependent variable. The two variable we measure using scales. And two, sample. 100 guidance and counseling department student in Faculty of Education, Yogyakarta State University with 30 male and students and 70 female students. And scale, the self-motivation ability scale fulfilled the validity requirement for its 21 item using the ALPA method and reliability requirement. 2. And the scale of self-regulate learning consistent of 17 item testing with the ALPA technique, the reliability requirement. And 4. The correlation technique, the multiple regression technique were employed for data analysis. Next, result. The self-motivating ability scale. The self-motivating ability that receive a minimum score of 62 and a maximum score of 83. The Caltod mean was 72 and the start deviation was 496. The self-motivating ability scale that a minimum score of 40 was attained for self-regulate learning implementation and maximum score of 61 was achieved based on the data we have. And testing a hypothesis, self-motivation and measured by self-regular learning was correlated with a 0.35 uh, with a 0.31 30 51 with an effective contribution of 23%. This result in the rejection of the null hypothesis and the acceptance of the working hypothesis. In other words, there is a significant relationship between student motivation and their capacity to engage in self-regular learning. Next, discussion. According to the descriptive result, the average self-motivation ability of student is 22 sig, which is in the medium range, and the average implementation of self-regular learning is 47 sig 8, also in the medium range. Observing this condition, students who are both self-motivation and self-regulate in their learning run in the same direction with equal intensity. And the correlation between incapacity to motivate oneself and the implementation of self-regular learning correlates 0, 30, 51 with an effective contribution of 23 person revealing this condition. Thus, the ability to self-motivation student correlate with the implementation of self-regular learning among students. And based on the result of the above mentioned hypothesis testing, it can be concluded that one of the most influential factor influencing the implementation of self-regular learning among BKF Universitas Yogyakarta student is their capacity for self-motivation. Several previous studies have demonstrated that motivation is crucial element in the process of instituting self-regular learning. Furthermore, motivation is the most essential factor in the learning process. And the last conclusion. And one, self-motivation was shown to have a crucial role in the implementation of self-regular learning, suggesting that is a key factor in the management of one learning. And two, the most significant function in the implementation of student self-regulation is played by learning goal orientation. And three, individuals' learning process are also related to their sense of self-efficacy or the belief that are capable or performing tasks or engaging in learning activities. And four, the more confidence you feel, the better the task will be accomplished, and vice versa. Meanwhile, The activation of past knowledge of future outcome and intrinsic interest value in the activities have no meaningful relationship with the implementation of regular learning among students. Okay, thank you for your attention. Sorry if there are any mistake. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oke teman-teman, terima kasih